right, guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Outspoken Samantha. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button while you are here. So today we're diving into something that I've been hearing from a lot of women lately, and I'm talking moms, sisters, even grandmas, about Disney's obsession with turning our beloved princesses into these weapon-wielding girl bosses. You know, the ones who don't need a prince, who don't need a kingdom, and really don't seem to have any fun. They instead want to do things like take over a country and lecture everybody about empowerment instead. And somehow this is not appealing to the wider female audience, especially since we're stressed enough as it is. We want to escape the stress of having to be in charge of everything. And for a couple of hours, it'd be nice to live in a fantasy land where woodland creatures do the household chores, where we get to go to a ball and enjoy music and dancing, and where at the end, we end up living in a castle. I mean, I get it. Times change, and sometimes these stories need a little bit of a modern edge. I'm not against that, but are women really begging for the bossification of every female character, especially Disney princesses? No, we're not. Let's look at some of the classics. We've got Cinderella, Snow White, and Sleeping Beauty. These gals were icons. They had grace, they had kindness, and yeah, maybe a prince swooped in, but that was part of the fairy tale charm. I grew up watching Cinderella scrub floors and take crap from her siblings. But at the end, she still landed in a castle. But it wasn't about her being a servant or needing a man to rescue her. Those aren't the things that stood out to me, especially when I was a little girl. It was her overall grace, her positivity, and her inner beauty, especially, that made her appealing. I mean, obviously she was gorgeous, but it was about who she was as a person, and she was someone worth looking up to, especially for a little girl. Despite what the modern feminist message tries to tell us, these stories were not about weak women. They were about resilience and hope. But according to Disney, they seem to think that they screwed up with all of their original masterpieces because they're like, true love is weak, and what every girl needs is to be told that she just needs to save herself. However, as we can see, there are a lot of young women out there today who have adopted this message and who have accepted it and absorbed it. And they're finding out too late that they really did want a prince after all. But the prince that they're getting in their late 30s is not as charming as who they could have gotten if they'd woken up from this feminist mindset earlier in life. I love this comment on X from a person named Jade Martin. It says, until Disney goes back to themes of love, kindness, and family, then they will never succeed again. Little girls dream of princes and romance. It's why women grow up to read romance books. You are not liberating little girls and women by actively shaming the girls who are feminine, soft, and romantic. We are sick of the girl boss trope. So what is the deal with feeling the need to remove these princesses that focused on these more gentle aspects to where they now need to be more masculine than the prince, if there even is one? This was an article written by a publication called Mamma Mia, and I appreciated her take on this because this isn't about being against women who relate more to the girl boss type. It's now about telling girls who don't want to be that way that the only way to be a woman is to lead a crusade. So in this article, she first starts out talking about all the controversy surrounding Rachel Zegler and Snow White and some of the other issues that Disney has had that I've just talked about that kind of reflect the same things. And so she goes on to say, does Snow White need some serious updates? Of course. Between Snow White's lack of agency in her story and the absence of a meaningful interaction between her and the prince, who we're supposed to believe is her one true love, there are certainly things that could be made better for modern audiences. That said, the character of Snow White has always been gentle, kind, and nurturing. She likes baking pies and takes pride in taking care of others. She loves love. Does every woman enjoy that? Certainly not. But women who do are no less feminist than a woman who dreams of being a leader. Falling in love is not a weakness. There was a time when domesticated representations of women on the screen were all we ever saw, and that in and of itself was problematic. But now isn't the aim to diversify the types of Disney women we're seeing on the screen? The acknowledgement that women did not always have the choice to step outside of the home should not belittle the women who still want to step into those roles. And I agree with that. Isn't the point of diversity to show different ways that it's okay to be who you are? That not all women have to be brave and masculine, and we don't need to make every single male character a loser because him being maybe a prince or somebody of higher position in the movie is going to seem threatening to the female character and promote ideas about the patriarchy. I just think women are done with this. I've seen post after post and video after video of women saying, enough is enough. Bring back the cutesy movies where the princess talks to the woodland creatures and a handsome man saves her. The movies with themes of true love and finding joy in your surroundings, as Sleeping Beauty and Snow White did. They showed us the power that those things have. And honestly, I think devaluing those traits have done a world of harm to society overall. We are more selfish and we have a very hard time being grateful for things or staying positive through our challenges. Today, being self centered is encouraged and being a victim is rewarded. And let's not forget the traits of being loving and joyful and hopeful and selfless weren't limited to just the princess. It's not like she was being walked all over by everybody and everybody else got to behave exactly how they wanted to, but she just had to be this meek servant with no voice. The traits of being this kind of person extended to the king, the queen, the fairies, the prince. They were all led by those things. These movies were about good versus evil. Nobody walked away thinking that these princesses were weak or helpless. They looked strong for going through their trials, being gracious despite having to deal with some pretty nasty people, and still remaining positive because their dreams and their hope kept them going. And they eventually found their way out of darkness. Those are the messages that we need now more than ever, because the challenges that most people, especially our kids, face today cannot be solved by picking up a sword or leading a revolution. It's about mental and emotional strength and resilience. Anyway, I think that for a long time, women have just kind of dealt with this girl bossification of Disney princesses and just this feminist approach to female characters in movies overall. We just kind of put up with it, and it was nice to see a different view of women in the entertainment space. But now it's all we're seeing, and we're over it.
Snow White is a soft, dainty, and feminine woman. She is not a girl boss like Mulan. Snow White represents some of us girls who don't want that girl boss lifestyle. We're not interested in being leaders. We're not interested in climbing up the corporate ladder. We're not interested in being politicians, the CEO, all that stuff. And that's okay. I didn't like the fact that they bossified Snow White on a live action remake. It's just not her. It's not the Snow White that I grew up with. I'm also disappointed in the fact that there's no prince in the film, and the love interest is actually a thief. Like, you rather choose a thief over a prince? Be effing for real, girl. Come on. And since we're talking about the prince here, I'm gonna say something good about him, okay? Because he has been getting shat on by so many people, and those people need to go back and rewatch the movie. The prince searched far and wide for Snow White. He searched for many months. He went through seasons trying to find her. And yes, seasons. It's because if you go back and watch the movie, the 1937 film, towards the end, you see that fall and winter has passed, and it wasn't until spring is when he finally found her. And the reason why he found her is because he heard that there was a beautiful fair maiden who lays in a glass coffin. He was that in love with her that he just kept searching for her until he found her. And he gets no credit for it because I don't freaking know, because he has no lines in the movie, I guess. Matter of fact, they should just rename the whole live action movie. They should name it to Snow White and her 7 reasons why she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
So you would think, with all of the women that I hear today who want men who are emotionally available for them, this Snow White prince would be perfect, searching for seasons and seasons and willing to do whatever it takes to find her and make her happy. Here's another one.
And then to top it all off, y'all really try to turn her into a feminist. Like, we are so sick of that feminist movement. Okay, not everybody is rocking with that. Okay, it's a love story. Let it be a love story. She really tried to call the old one creepy, but that's the one we remember as children. And I'm not even sitting up here like I'm a super Snow White fan, but baby, as a child, every little girl has watched all of the Disney princesses. We all did, and y'all really ruined this for our children. I really hope that Disney takes what TikTok say, because we are the people. And we tried to tell y'all to recast. We tried to tell y'all we wasn't rocking with it. And they didn't listen. And they went out here and they still did this. And they got a 1.5 rating. Y'all gonna start listening to TikTok, I swear, because we be really telling y'all what we want.
It's not just the people on TikTok, obviously, that they need to listen to, because we've been telling Disney this for years and they've continued to spiral downwards and continue to make these poor choices. As I've said in the past, I know that Rachel Zegler has taken a lot of heat for pretty much tanking this movie, and a lot of that heat can be laid at her feet. But Disney ultimately has continued to go down this political, liberal, progressive, feminist movement and incorporate that into all of their movies, and it has not worked for them. And I hope that they eventually get the message. But what I find just shocking about this whole thing is that if they had wanted to rebrand themselves and to remind people about why we love Disney and why these characters have meant so much to us over the years, this could have been a huge opportunity for them, doing this Snow White remake, bringing to life this character that put Disney on the map and that people have loved for almost 100 years. They had the script right in front of them. They had the tools and the keys all laid out for them to do this, to kind of relaunch themselves. And instead, they chose to crap all over it. Ultimately, Disney is chasing a cultural shift that is alienating half of their audience. Conservatives, and honestly, a lot of women in general, just want tradition, not a rewrite. And we're not anti-strong women. We love Mulan and Elsa and Moana and Merida, but strength isn't just about swinging a sword. It's family, it's patience, it's endurance, and even a little romance. Disney seems to have forgotten that, and women are calling them out on their BS. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Are you fed up with Disney's girl boss agenda? Leave your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your take. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not already, and help me to grow this channel. Other than that, keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.